Welcome to today's video. Today we're going to take you through 10 fat loss myths for nutrition. Now this gets completely bastardized and people get really confused with nutrition, and it doesn't have to be that way. Before we begin, I have just put together a guide which is 59 fitness myths. This will debunk a lot of rubbish that's out there in the fitness industry, mainstream media and social media. If you want to copy this, hit the link below. Now into the video. Point number one. So a big fitness myth for fat loss with nutrition is you can eat lower calories for losing weight. Now, technically this is bullshit, because in reality, when it comes to losing weight, if you're eating less calories than you consume on a daily basis, you will lose weight. Therefore, you can't eat fewer calories to lose weight, because if you're in a calorie deficit, you'll be losing body fat. Now, the caveat to this doesn't mean you then go and eat 500 calories a day, because yes, you will lose weight for a period of time. However, that won't be sustainable. And what I like to say is that if something's not sustainable, it's not attainable. Because what will actually happen, either you'll fold and you'll give in, and you won't be able to sustain 500 calories a day, because I know I couldn't. And number two, after maybe 5-6 weeks, progress will hit a wall, because what happens, your body adapts to whatever you're doing. So if you go from eating 2,000 calories a day to 500 calories a day, you'll lose a lot of weight very quickly, then you'll hit a wall and you won't lose any more body fat. Now, what will happen at that point is you're pretty much screwed, because you can't eat less than 500 calories a day. You would be in a very bad situation. So then you're going to have to try and do more cardiovascular work. You're going to be in an enormous deficit. Your hormonal profile will absolutely implode. You'll have zero sex drive. You'll feel rubbish, no energy. It's going to be a bad situation. So please, don't take your calories super low. If you want a calorie deficit, aim for a calorie deficit around 500 from what's called your BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate. So roughly the amount of calories you need for maintenance. You want to be around 500 calories less than that, ideally from a combination of extra exercise and also from reducing your calorie intake. Now, the next tip in terms of for fat burning, fat loss myths is to burn body fat, you have to do light weights, lots of reps. This is complete BS. What you actually want to be doing is exactly the same training you were doing before when you were trying to build muscle and get jacked. Because the reality is, and I see it a lot, when people try and lose body fat, they think they need to be jumping around the gym, doing superset and everything, giant sets, all this stuff. Yes, you're working hard, but like weight training workouts aren't designed for burning calories. They're actually a really poor way to burn calories. What resistance training is designed to do is create an adaptive response from your muscles by the resistance training, which is actually going to lead to you having a better body composition and increasing your BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate. So what we want to do in terms of losing body fat is, like we discussed in the previous tip, just focus on your calorie balance, calories in versus calories out, which is simple thermodynamics. Myth number 3 is fast weight loss is better than slow weight loss. This is, I would completely disagree with, unless you've got a situation where you have to be in shape for like a photo shoot, a competition, something like that, where you have a definite goal that you need to be done by for a certain time. If that's not the case, then slow, sustainable weight loss is the way to go. Generally, if you try and push the body hard to do something like lose weight really quickly, what happens? You end up putting it back on really quickly. So if you can slowly just change your lifestyle and your habits to lose the body fat, which is what we work with clients at CGO Coaching to do, then that will help you to make us have a sustainable approach that you can sustain for life, not just for 12 weeks. Myth number 4 is losing weight goes in a straight line. Now, a lot of people don't realize this, and I actually spoke with a client about this yesterday. He has been working with me for about a year. He's got put on so much muscle mass and he's lost a lot of body fat. He's lost around 5 inches around his waist, yet his weight is exactly the same. Do you know what's happened? His body composition has completely changed. He's got more muscle mass, which is heavy, and he's lost body fat. However, the scales are balancing out with an equilibrium. So the key thing I want you to focus on and think about is not like a linear drop in the scale weight. It's how you look, how you feel, and how you think, and your relationship with food and who you are that's more important than the number on a set of scales. Progress will never be linear. There'll always be ups and downs as you go, as are the ebbs and flows of life. Next tip is in regards to the scales are the number 1 factor in terms of weight loss. So I sort of alluded to this before, but there's a lot of other metrics we look at. So firstly would be cognitive performance, how you generally feel, overall health, and then how do you look? Like, I don't care what people weigh, I care how they look. That's visually what we're after. We're looking for an aesthetic kind of goal. And then we put on top of that things like sexual function, libido, general energy, confidence, things that actually make you happy in life rather than a number on the scale. So the metric on the scale is something we track. However, purely tracking body fat is not necessarily the greatest measurement. Something I like to track with clients is actually their waist circumference, using their belly button as a reference point. Because if your waist is going down, yet your weight is staying the same, you're clearly losing body fat, which is the goal. Next myth is training more equals more results. Seems logical, right? Well, if that was the answer, why don't we train 4 times a day? Serious question. Comment below if you know why. The reality is, and I've tried this, it's like training twice a day before, doing loads of super high volume. It's not how hard we can train, it's how hard we can recover, because what happens is the body becomes very stressed, very tired, very inflamed, and then it almost becomes resistance to fat loss. It almost goes to the point where it's so broken down and depleted, your hormonal profile and your CNS, central nervous system, will get very fatigued and you become very likely to get injured or ill, which then just really disrupt your progress. So one of the best things you can actually do for losing body fat is having a moderate amount of training you can recover from and focusing on your sleep, hydration and nutrition rather than trying to do more and more and more work in the gym. It's not how much you do, it's how good the work is that you are actually doing. So next up, one of the big golden myths that people don't understand is cardio is essential for fat loss. Now, I discussed earlier in the video in terms of for fat loss, we simply need calories in versus calories out. Calories in to be less the amount of calories we're burning. Therefore, our body will use stored energy within body fat as fuel. So to achieve this, do we need to be doing cardiovascular work? No, we don't, because if we have our nutrition set up correctly or we're generally active, we can just tailor our nutrition to the point where we'll be in a calorie deficit and lose weight. And this also talks about in terms of food choices, like you can have some of the foods you love and still lose weight, providing you're within your calorie allowance for the day. And that's one of the things we really work with clients to teach them is in terms of, okay, if you want to have a Magnum ice cream, we can fit this in your diet with like 300 calories by taking it from somewhere else in the day. But cardio isn't the golden rule in terms of fat loss. What often happens, and I see this in particular with women, is that when people have a fat loss goal with cardio, they tend to get a bit of a credit debit society with cardio and calories. So they think, okay, I've done 500 calories on a cross trainer, I can eat the extra Magnum ice cream, I can eat a bit more. And they're just offsetting simply the work they're doing and also fatiguing their body more with extra exercise they don't essentially need. Next nutrition myth is I have to follow a set diet to lose weight. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, having a set diet and being consistent will get you better results in my opinion. In particular at the beginning, if you're not particularly experienced or consistent with what you're doing. There's an expression I like, and it's like eat like a dog. Eat the same thing in small amounts at the same time every day, and you'll get phenomenal results. However, that's not really practical and not particularly enjoyable for most people, as I understand. So what we teach clients is a way in terms of having a more balanced approach and fitting things in how they want. So one of the things we give all clients is what we call a free meal. So we use the free meal approach, a free meal strategy, where at the weekend, they can go out and have what they want for one meal, anything they want. Don't eat like a dick, but have what you want, have 3-course meal, desserts, all that stuff, and then they will still get progress. If you want to find out more about how we do that with clients, if you hit the link below this video, you can book in a free strategy call with myself and the team. But this is one of the things that I discovered with my own relationship with food and transforming my body that made everything sustainable and attainable for me to maintain long term. Next up is that to lose weight and get lean, we have to live the chicken, rice and broccoli life. For anyone who's followed my Instagram, YouTube, you know I like traveling, I love eating out, I love going to sick restaurants, I like sushi, I like Oreo cheesecake a hell of a lot. Lewis behind the camera smiling. I had Oreo cheesecake like last weekend, I had 2, it was banging. But the reality is, you don't have to eat chicken and rice and broccoli to get lean. That's a miserable existence. I don't want that for anyone. What we do is we teach you the skills of how to know what foods to eat, when to eat them, and how to get away with the finer things in life while still getting results. And a lot of this is a big mindset shift, and it's you becoming self-aware of how you think and how you feel to optimize your body, and also becoming very aware in terms of your gut health for optimal results. So tip number 9 is sweating causes fat loss. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I quite like it when you sweat loads when you're training. It feels like you're working really hard, but this doesn't actually aid in fat loss at all. The only thing it's gonna mean is you're depleting water a lot, so you're gonna have to increase your hydration and increase your electrolytes you're taking in to make sure you have a solid mineral balance. If you find towards the end of the day that your brain is feeling a bit fried and you can't focus, that's often because you're depleted in electrolytes and minerals. So if that sounds like you, I'd suggest you take that, and that's one of the things that we really discuss with clients is going through their supplement protocol in terms of overall health supplements and their lifestyle. But one of the big things in terms of people think as well is like, you can go sit in a sauna for an hour if you like, you'll drop loads of water from sweat coming out of you, but you're gonna go drink a litre of water and your body's just gonna rehydrate itself. So that's not gonna help you. Sweating more doesn't equal more fat loss. That's one of the biggest myths I see from a lot of people who don't really understand how fat loss works. Last one, and this is a big one, people wanna lose belly fat. You can't lose belly fat or body fat specifically from different places. So for example, with guys, we tend to lose body fat from our chest and upper body very, very quickly. and it tends to stay around our love handles and our lower back for the last bits. And what you'll find is your body will pull at different parts of your body, week on week, pulling at fat deposits. Now, you can't really control this at all. This is genetics and where you hold body fat. So one of the big things you have to get used to, and you'll find as you go through your fitness journey, is that you'll find as you go from being slightly fatter to being very lean, different parts will suddenly start to drop body fat. So I would say, for example, me, the last place to go is my lower back, love handles, and my arse cheek around my glutes. When that's there's no body fat there, that's when you're in shredded shape. So big thing to think about is that be patient, trust the process, and look at a sustainable route to fat loss, and that will get you results. So that's 10 nutrition for fat loss myths. If you want to find out about the other fitness and fat loss myths I have put together into this insane document to help you not make these mistakes, hit the link below here and I'll send it over to you for completely free. Make sure you comment below any questions you may well have. Smash the like button, hit subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.